Hello, it's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it's Make It Monday, and this is our class version tonight. So I am pre-recording it, not because I have a class tonight, but because it's so long if I don't pre-record it and skip all the changing in between. So, but I am going to be watching the comments live, and so I'll be able to chat with you there, right in the comments, even if I can't talk to you. So I'm excited to see you, so pop on and let me know that you're here. So before we get started though, I want to just remind you that this class is available. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I have class this week, and then next week I have Monday evening in Chambersburg. So you're welcome to come to a class. Classes are always free with a minimum purchase, and in the class, a $40 purchase is the minimum purchase. If you would like to receive these cards by mail, make sure your order's in by the 15th of the month to guarantee that you get the packet. I usually try to offer something later in the month, but I don't make more packets once they're finished. So anyways, the minimum order is 50. But I'm also going to tell you and remind you about our Creative Stamping Collective projects, that the PDF that's available, and that's with a $60 minimum purchase. So if you bump it up $10, you will get that as well. All right. The other thing that I want to mention is last month towards the end, I offered 5 handmade cards for every $50 in orders, and I want to do that for July as well, because I have a nice stash of new cards that are from retired cards that I'm not using as samples anymore. And so just an extra thank you to you for your order. They'll come in the mail unless I see you in person, of course. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? So many things. I'm like so excited. So let me just flip over to my camera so that I can show you, just remind you. So this is, I actually just printed this out. This is the Charming Day PDF with all of the videos, links in there for all the beautiful projects. I've looked closely at a couple of them, and I'm telling you, you won't want to miss. There's lots of cool techniques and folds and things like that. I also want to mention that our online exclusives are started, of course, on July 1st. And they are just beautiful. There's so many things in here you won't want to miss. Of course, you don't have this PDF. However, I am going to put that in my next email to you, because I do purchase a PDF so that I have it, and I will share that with you. I think I'm allowed to share that. I'll look to make sure that I can share that before I do it. But anyways, so if you go into my website, if you click on the link right here, then you can just type in online exclusives, and if you look for all of them, if you hit view all at the top, you will get to see all these new things that are available, and they should list in there for you. Also, if you hit shop now, there should be an online exclusive or new product thing that you can look at to see those. So very cool. You'll see some of them in the class projects here in a second. Okay. And one other thing, let me see if I have it here. I apologize. I forgot to turn my lights on. Forgot that I was going to be using the camera down here. So let me just show you again. This is the Charming Day PDF. It's 25 pages long. Every month it's 25 pages long. There's 12 projects from 12 different demonstrators, so that you get a really nice mixture of different styles. And then online exclusives, which it's a little hard to see on camera anyways, but many products in there that you'll definitely want to take a look at. And then this just came out today. I just found out this a few seconds ago and wanted to share this. 3 days of sale for our two-tone cardstock. So I'm really excited about this, because of the next thing that I'm going to show you is using some of our two-tone cardstock in really fun and creative ways. And so, if you're a scrapbooker, you definitely, sorry, I have all these deadlines. I've got things going off everywhere. But if you like scrapbooking, they're 12 by 12. If you like to do fun projects in your crafting as well, you will love these. You'll see some of the things that we're doing. Okay, so I wanted to show you this really quickly. So that was the quick view. And we are doing this class this month. I call it my no paint night. I coined that phrase a couple years ago when I wanted to do a project that was special, and everybody was doing these no paint or these paint nights, and we're not going to use paint. So it's a no paint night, but it's very creative, as you just saw, and it has some really fun new techniques. And I just really don't want to give away the whole thing, but as you can see, we're doing some sanding with the two-tone cardstock, as I mentioned before. And so that's, excuse me, why the sale is going to be great, because you'll get some of that in the class. So my registration, my email just went out today. If you're not on my email list, you might want to put a message there that you would like the email, because the classes we're going to fill up fast. There's also a to-go option if you are not local or the class dates don't suit you. So the dates for this class are Tuesday, July the 29th in the evening, 6 to 9 p.m., or Thursday the 31st in the morning from 10 a.m. to, excuse me, to 1 p.m. I could add a third class if we need it, but we'll see how it goes and how much interest there is in doing this. So the verse will be pre-printed for you, and all the die cutting will be done, and we'll just work on the design. So I hope that you like that. Let's pop to our projects for this month. Okay, this project uses our beautiful Sunrise Sailing hybrid kit. Hybrid bundle, I should say. So this comes with an embossing folder where you can cut the big sailboat out. Beautiful stamps. It's just, I love sailboats, as you know from last Monday's video. I want to show you some techniques here that we're using on this card. So first of all, I think when I did my sample, I did it on a flat piece and then did the embossing. So this is going to be a little tricky, because I forgot that I didn't want to emboss all of these. And I'm going to first add a mask. I just cut this. I cut it out of a piece of cardstock. I think it's, let me just get a measurement here for you. Get my, it's our 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And I want to have like a sun going down or moon coming up in the background. So we're using Timid Tiger along with our, yeah, what is this color? It's an in color. You guys will know. It's a 2024-26 in color. So it came out last year. And then, of course, Timid Tiger we're using on top of it. So I'm going to get some scrap paper here to just, well, actually, do I have, let's use the silicone mat, because then I don't have to waste as much ink, right? Let's lose a little bit on here. I always like to start out less is more. The other thing that I want to do before I do that, if I remember correctly here, is to just mask this, because I want a little bit at the top, because you need some of this to get that sun going down or moon look. So I have to add some, and I don't want a lot up here. And then I'm just going to move this to the other direction, or the other side. And we'll do a little heavier on the bottom. I think, did that move on me? Alright, so I did that pretty heavy on the bottom. Probably a little more than I needed to. Now, in order not to have this completely stand out, we're going to lightly go over this. Okay, not loving how that's standing out on the boat, but because it should be coming from behind the boat. But anyways, when you do this, what I'm doing right now, do that first and then do your embossing, okay? That will be helpful. All right, so let's go ahead, and I did add on my sample, you'll see here where I added heavier color where the sun was coming down. I did not do that on here, but I could just, where the sun is reflecting, add a little bit heavier. I have some more ink on here. There we go. Okay. Now I got some on there. Let's just get layering then. The rest is very, very easy. We're going to put it on a piece of black just to make it stand out. Because it's embossed, I'm going to go the whole length of this. So each piece is just 1/4 of an inch smaller or larger depending on which direction you're going. And then our white card base. I think I'm using thick white since it's a base. And then these little boat pieces are ship sailboats. Say it right. You only need a little bit of glue. Whoops. And it's going to be on this straight portion over here. So I'm going to, that's going to overlap on this piece. I'm going to hold it up here so I don't get glue over everything. And then the point just goes up to that little ball at the top. And then I will add dimensionals here. Let's see, do I have some little ones? Got lots of dimensionals. There we go. And it's also nice to have some on that the sailboat portion, or the boat portion I should say. We have it on the sails, and to do that we'll just cut a little strip off of here. And I might cut enough so that I have enough for the other boat too. Whoops, that must have peeled the whole thing off. That's interesting. I don't know why they did that. Alright, we'll get that tops peeled off. And this one. And we're going to pop this one just to the left of the big sailboat. Want it to be sailing fairly straight. And then we'll do the little one. Same thing on the, it's going to be on the more triangle rather than rounded portion. It goes on the opposite side. And again, you just put it up to the tip. Looks like that ball might have gotten cut off a little bit. And we'll get some dimensionals here. And our little piece that we cut. There we go. And I feel like I should be going up to the point a little bit more, so I'm just going to cut one of these little ones in half. We don't want it to sag at the top. Okay, there we go. And we'll pop him down here. And then the happy birthday I'm using from a Sweet Jar because I really like the font of that. And I think I'm using all happy birthdays this month because when I go to class, everybody's like, oh, I don't need that saying, I need a happy birthday. So guess what? I got you covered. Isn't that pretty? And we'll do a little tail here. I don't want to cover up too much, so I'm going to take that tail in fairly close to the words. Maybe a little bit more. I should have brought a punch because I don't do well with these. Okay, 2 dimensionals on this one. We have a little bit of stamping to do here yet before I stick that on. I almost forgot my birds. Let's see, where did the birds get to? Oh, they're right here. I want to add at least 2 birds here. Of course, I have to add them where it's flattened, not where it's sticking up. So we'll put that in here. I might have gotten that one a little low. It might get covered by the saying. So maybe I'll put another one right up here. All right. Put that right on the edge. Okay. Now, one other thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to add some Wink of Stella, and I wish we still had a white gel pen, and I didn't even have one that still works. So I pulled out this chalk marker. I wanted a little bit, I don't know how I got that black dot on there. I wanted it to be a little shimmery here where the sun is shining, so I just added a touch of this white just to the top of those raised up waves. And I'm not sure that you'll even be able to see it from on video camera. Let me zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put another layer on just to make it a little darker. Because you know chalk markers aren't real intense. Okay, and then I took my Wink of Stella and just went over that. I want to make sure it's not too wet. It's pretty wet. Let me just dab it off on my scrap paper. Instead, look at that. It's quite wet. Didn't want quite that much on there. I just want it to go right across that chalk line and add just a little shimmer to where the sun is shining. Alright, so hopefully you can see that a little bit. Alright, not much, but just those little touches that sometimes make a card a little more special. And then we do have gems. I'm using the iridescent faceted gems, and we're just going to pop 2 of those on. I'm going to use the smaller ones. Actually, I'm going to run out if I use all small ones, so let's use a big one and a small one. How's that sound? Alright, so there we go. All finished, ready for anybody that loves sailing or a guy card, whichever you need. Alright, let's pop to the next one. Okay, just so you don't think that I'm only about flowers, we are going to go to a scenery picture again for a guy. And I hope that you enjoy this. We're going to do some sponging and die cutting and some tearing, lots of fun stuff with this card. This is featuring, of course, the Scenic Adventure bundle. And I truly think this is probably one of the best scene ones that we've had, other than like Grassy Grove, you know, the tree scene. So where you can build a scene. The mountains and the trees and everything are just so great in the set and easy to use. So let's get started with this one. So my base for my card is, well, my base is white, but the base for the picture that we're going to create is cloud cover. And this is 3.5 by 3 5/8 or 3 3/4. Just want to make sure that I have this on here right. I want the longer distance going here. Okay, so 3.5 is also what I cut all of these pieces widthwise, and then I just cut out the design that I wanted. So everything was 3.5 to start, so that it goes the whole width of my paper. All right, we're going to also do some sponging here just to create some color on the color. I just think that helps when you do a scenery thing like this. It helps it to have a little more character. Not that necessarily the tops of the mountains are going to be darker than the rest of it, but it helps it to stand out a little bit. So we're going to do that on there. This one, this is just a small die, but I want a larger piece, so I cut it on a bigger piece, and we're just going to finish sort of cutting a pattern that we want there. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of color to that. I didn't re-ink this so that it's not quite as dark. And maybe I will re-ink it. If you're going to sponge, you might as well be able to see it, right? Let's change over to the green. I'm just going to flip this over so I don't get brown mixed in there. So I'm using Old Olive, and I'm doing Old Olive on the Old Olive piece, the grassy piece here. That one takes a little bit more color to get it. I feel like I'm in a dark spot here or something. Let's turn that up just a little bit. And then I'm also gonna sponge a little over these trees to see if that makes any difference at all. I don't want to add another color of ink to mess with, but a little Old Olive on top of this might give a little bit of texture. And I realize that I'm got a few pieces still in here, so let's get those out right away. Okay, let's put these back in order. Let's get rid of this. And we're just going to start gluing these down. I want this very near the top just so that I can get all the other pieces on that I need to fit on here. I feel bad. I definitely saw this idea from somebody online, and I can't for the life of me think who it was. So if it was yours, thank you so much. It's beautiful. More glue here. I probably didn't copy it exactly. I got almost put the wrong one in there. Now the reason I wanted these to go to the very edge of this, and I'm putting this together first, is because some of this, like this cuts out sort of on an angle. Do I want it on that angle? I'm not sure. So I might want to do a little twist, and then that's going to mean that I might have to cut a little bit off if it's overlapping here, because I want it to definitely just go to the edge. That side is fairly good. Okay, now we can add our grassy scene here. And you can see that I'm quickly getting to the bottom of my card, and I don't want to go below that. So if I need to come down further, I could trim it off, but I'm just going to go to this corner, this bottom edge, because the rest can get built on top of there. The next thing I want to get ready is this piece. So I cut this out. It's got like a little, maybe little babbling brook, and I'm just going to tear this. This is the two-tone blue. I'm trying to think which blue I used. And when you tear it, it gives you that white inside. So a regular cardstock doesn't do that. And this is going to tuck down inside of here. And I'm going to just trim that off a little bit because I want to be able to glue this down and then tuck that. Because this goes right to this edge. And then this is going to go in here. I'm not sure if I still have that small enough, so we'll see here if I can tuck that down. And yeah, that'll work. I know my hand is getting in the way. And I also don't want that right there. So I am going to, remember we just cut that off. I'm going to take it down a little further so that it goes completely down to the river. And before I put that down real firmly, let's get some glue on our trees. And they're going to be sort of okay, getting lots of goop on there, right? I want to just tuck that one behind here. And we'll put those on there like that. Hold that down for a minute to get those glued. All right, let's go ahead and add glue to the back of this. You can see that we kept everything within the confines of this one piece. And we're going to back it with just a touch of black so that it outlines it. And then we're ready to pop that on our card. It's a little thick because we've added all those layers, but it's still going to mail easily because we haven't popped anything up. All right, now that my card looks like it's folded a little crooked here, let's see if we can make sure that's straight, because that's going to affect how straight what we put on is, right? And it does make it look crooked. So let me just see if I can pop that up. Good, I didn't push too hard on that, right? It's a little hard in here because there's shadows. It's over to the right a little bit, but I'd rather have it a little off-centered than crooked. All right, now next we're gonna stamp. I want to show you, I did a little surgery on this stamp. So the saying says, just breathe and take it slow. I particularly don't like that part because, for this card anyways. Now, if you had somebody who just had knee surgery, hip surgery, or whatever, heart surgery, and you want to tell them, take it easy, you know, don't overdo it. I don't know what I want to send this for, so I didn't want to take it slow. And I want to be able to use that for more than just surgery type thing. So just breathe. You might be going through a hard time with your kids or whatever. So I cut that off, the take it slow off, and I'll use that separately. If I want it on, I can put it on. If I don't want it on, I can just leave it off. Okay. So that's what I like about our stamps is you can do surgery on them when you need to. A little hard to tell if I'm straight there. I think that's good. And then our gems, like I said, are low profile sparkle dots in these colors. And we're going to use the dark colors here. It's a dark blue. I would say maybe it looks a little like, these are a bugger to get off. These epoxy dots are, anyways, it looks a little bit like Secret Sea to me. If I loosen that and can't get it, I might be able to pop it up with this, but they don't move as well with the putty like other things do. Okay, and then on the inside, if you want to do some stamping, you could add, there is a, there's a skinny tree in here, so you could add a couple of trees. we have a stand of trees. You could put a saying in here. I did grab the You're Amazing from this set. It's big. It's really big. Let me see. I probably should have done that in one of the other colors. Let's try it in black and see how. I think I need to re-ink all of my Memento pads. I do have the re-inker here. Let's go ahead and do this one real quick. This is not a foam pad, so you don't want to get too much on there. And I just smudged it here, so let me grab. I don't want that going everywhere. I ran off the pad a little bit. All right, now, because it has already sunk down in, I'm just gonna like move it around by tapping around with, I'm sorry for that noise and movement. I'm just going to move it around by tapping around with this. And hopefully, and I notice that I keep rubbing it, and so then I get those little rub marks on it. There we go. Hopefully I don't have ink all over my hands, and I'm just going to stamp that right across here. There we go. Yay! All right, on we go. Okay, this card is going to feature our new sunflower embossing folder, which you've all seen and loved. And I've seen Patty Bennett do this in tons of different colors, color combinations, beautiful ideas. So we're going to do this fun fold card. And we're going to start with an image that we've embossed with the folder in white. And grab my scrap paper here. And we're going to use the deboss side. So this is the raised side. We're going to actually do this on the opposite side. There's also things you can do. You can color these in. You can sponge them. There's lots of other ways you can use this, but this is the easiest way, and I really was attracted to this design because it catches everything that's still, that hasn't been embossed to the other side. Okay, let me grab this area a little bit more here. Sort of want to get that background, get a little bit over here. All right. Now, let me let that dry just a little bit while we work on our tag. Do I have a tag in here? I don't see a tag. Let's go ahead and do this piece. This is from our floral paper. I can't think what it's called. It's the one with the hydrangea. And because the other side of those papers are all black and white, so I looked for one that I thought would look nice inside of here. But I wanted these white strips to be yellow. So I'm just going to come in real quickly and just add yellow. And it's really easy with a sponge brush. And I'm not dabbing it off because I just want every bit of yellow that I can get on there. And with the black, it's not really going to show too much if you have a larger dab of yellow than the rest. I'm using the small brush, but the big one would have been smarter for this, but my yellow one was the small one, so I went ahead and, but if you have one that that's bigger, it will cover a little more quickly. But there we go. That way it's going to coordinate more with our colors, and we're using Darling Ducky for the yellow in this. All right, now the card is 8.5 by 5.5, but it's scored at 1.5 and 4 1/4. So the 4 1/4, of course, will fold this in half. And there's my other bone folder I was looking for. And then this piece will fold back to create the base where we're going to glue our front piece on. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue that on. So I'm just going to put adhesive right down this. And this is cut 5.5 by 4 1/4, so full size, because it's going to fit to the very edge of the card. And notice I have the glued down piece right underneath here, and I'm just going to press on that. See, I got black on my hands. Thank goodness that's going to be covered, right? And then we're going to go ahead and put our bow on here. I'm going to grab our brand new ribbon tire and a length of our ribbon that I just made a mess of. So these, we're going to fit those in here, and I think I'm going to do it about there. Actually, let's do it no, I want to do that one. So to do this, we're just going to cross over and under, bring it up and around, and then tie it in a square knot. Notice I'm trying to keep the one end longer than the other. And then you pull that tight. When you pull that off, you have this beautiful bow. And then it won't undo. Like, the harder you pull on this, it does not loosen. So for the length that I cut these, you need to do it on this one as opposed to the bigger one. I already had this one made, so I didn't want to tie this one tight and waste that ribbon, because I only have one roll, and hopefully it's going to last me for the whole class. So these are brand new. Joel just designed these, and the pegs store inside, and it has lots of lengths of ribbon that you can do. This makes a really big bow if you'd go out to from here to here, or you can do smaller increments here. So anyways, really cool. I love my wooden one, but I love having all the extra sizes that I can add there. Okay. One of my teammates had asked if he could design something like that, because we used to always do them with wood, and then you have to find somebody to make them. So this way they're done. We have different colors to match. If you have our other organizers, then you can coordinate with those. What I really like about it is it pops up into my adhesive organizer, which I don't have on the table here, but it'll sit in there with the other adhesives, or it's only got a 3/4 inch footprint here, so it can tuck in wherever you want it, and your pegs won't get lost. Whew, I got lots of ink on this sucker now. Wow, you can tell that wasn't dry, and I don't think I did it all with my hands, but let's just see if we can get some of this edge off here with our adhesive eraser. I don't want those black marks there. It'll be easier to do before most of it's not going to show, but this edge right here is going to show. This is just sanding the paper off. Because our regular cardstock is full color the whole way through, you can do that without messing that up. All right, that looks fairly decent. So just know this is a messy card. Let it dry good before you mess with it. Excuse me. Tag. Let me stamp our tag before we close our ink pad. See if I can get this straight. All right. I'm going to do a little tail on it. Maybe I'll make that straight first. And then I really want it to stand out on my card, because if you look here, all that black and white, it really hides it. So I brought in a sponge dauber and my ink. and just sponge the edge. You could sponge the whole thing, or you could use a yellow piece and just stamp it in black. Lots of options. I just want to highlight it so that it stands out, and then we'll add dimensionals to that. Oops, almost did that wrong. You could do that crooked, you could do it straight, you could put it somewhere else. So let me just show you on this one. I have it going up at an angle. Maybe I'll try it down here as something a little different. And then our gems that we're using are the 2527 in color flat pearls. And again, they're epoxy. So where's my tool here? We'll get some of those on here. Just, they're so yummy. They're so shiny and beautiful. I just love flat pearls so much. All right, and then for the inside of our card, let's get that done. I pulled in this set. This is a new online exclusive this month as well. This is called Rustic Centerpiece. And I should say that the Charming Day bundle that I used, or suite that I used, is a new in color, and it's just available to customers this month. So that's something new as well. But I wanted to use this so bad, and I was like, okay, I'll use it inside of this piece. So let's go ahead and ink this up. And we're only using the top portion. I only want the sunflower portion here, so I'm just going to pop my scrap paper in here so that I don't get it all over my... I just really want that those sunflowers on here. Now you could color that in if you want to, or just leave it as is like we did on the other card. And we are going to just leave it as is. This is a black and white card with a pop of color. So let's put this in here. And then now you'll see why we sponged this piece, because we've got a blank section here and we want to add a little bit of design to the inside as well. So we're going to put that right in here. Like so. Isn't that pretty? So there we go. Beautiful card. I hope that you like that. And it's just an easy, it's not any special design, like an extra little fold here just does all of that. Isn't that cool? It's no extra cost than just a regular card with a layered front. All right, let's see, is that it? I think that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed those projects. Just a little reminder, right up here is the website where you can go, and if you place a $50 order, you'll get all of these projects in the mail. If you make it $60, you will also get the PDF tutorial for our Charming Day suite that we're doing this month. It's 12 tutorials, 12 videos, 12 everything. Beautiful, beautiful designs, just curated for our customers. And I hope that you will be able to take advantage of that. I think that's it. So thanks for joining me tonight. Take care. God bless.